In a fortnight I have the Mass in my head, and it's time to go to St. Joseph's to see the sacristan, Stephen Carey, who's in charge of altar boys. Da polishes my boots, Mam darns my socks and throws an extra coal on the fire to heat up the iron to press my shirt. She boils water to scrub my head, neck, hands and knees and any inch of skin that shows. She scrubs till my skin burns and tells Da she wouldn't give it in the world to say her son went to the altar dirty. She wishes I didn't have scabby knees from running around kicking canisters and falling down pretending I was the greatest footballer in the world. She wishes we had a drop of hair oil in the house, but water and spit will keep my hair from sticking up like black straw on a mattress. She warns me speak up when I go to St. Joseph's and don't be mumbling in English or Latin. She says 'tis a great pity you grew out of your first communion suit, but you have nothing to be ashamed of. You come from good blood, McCourts, Sheehan's, or my mother's family, the Guilfoyles, that owned acre after acre in County Limerick before the English took it away and gave it to the footpads from London. Da holds my hand going through the streets and people look at us because of the way we're saying Latin back and forth. He knocks at the sacristy door and tells Stephen Carey, "This is my son Frank, who knows the Latin and is ready to be an altar boy." Stephen Carey looks at him, then me. He says, "We don't have room for him," and closes the door. Da is still holding my hand and squeezes till it hurts, and I want to cry out. He says nothing on the way home. He takes off his cap, sits by the fire and lights a woodbine. Mam is smoking too. "Well," she says, "is he going to be an altar boy?" "There's no room for him." "Oh," she puffs at her woodbine. "I'll tell you what it is," she says. "'Tis class distinction. They don't want boys from the lanes on the altar. They don't want the ones with scabby knees and hair sticking up. Oh no, they want the nice boys with hair oil and new shoes that have fathers with suits and ties and steady jobs. That's what it is. It's hard to hold on to the faith with the snobbery that's in it." My arse, that's all you ever say. You could go to the priest and tell him you have a son that has a head stuffed with Latin and why can't he be an altar boy? And what is he going to do with all that Latin? He might grow up to be a priest. I ask him if I can go out and play. "Yes," he says, "go out and play." And Mem says, "You might as well." Mr. O'Neill is the master in the 4th class at school. We call him Dotty because he's small like a dot. He teaches in the one classroom with a platform so he can stand above us and threaten us with his ash plant and peel his apple for all to see. The first day of school in September, he writes on the blackboard 3 words which are to stay there the rest of the year. Euclid, geometry, idiot. He says if he catches any boy interfering with these words, that boy will go through the rest of his life with one hand. He says anyone who doesn't understand the theorems of Euclid is an idiot. No, repeat after me. Anyone who doesn't understand the theorems of Euclid is an idiot. Of course, we all know what an idiot is because that's what the masters keep telling us we are. Brendan quickly raises his hand. "Sir, what's a theorem and what's a Euclid?" We expect Dotty to lash at Brendan the way all the masters do when he asks them a question, but he looks at Brendan with a little smile. "Ah, now here's a boy with not one, but 2 questions. What is your name, boy?" "Brendan Quigley, sir." "This is a boy who will go far." "Where will he go, boys?" "Far, sir." "Indeed he will. The boy who wants to know something about the grace, elegance and beauty of Euclid can go nowhere but up. In what direction and no other can this boy go, boys?" "Up, sir." Without Euclid, boys, mathematics would be a poor doddering thing. Without Euclid, we wouldn't be able to go from here to there. Without Euclid, the bicycle would have no wheel. Without Euclid, St. Joseph could not have been a carpenter, for carpentry is geometry and geometry is carpentry. Without Euclid, this very school could never have been built. Paddy Cloessy mutters behind me, "Feckin' Euclid." Dotty barks at him, "You, boy, what's your name?" "Cloessy, sir." "Ah, the boy flies on one wing. What is your Christian name?" "Paddy." "Paddy what?" "Paddy, sir." "And what Paddy were you saying to McCourt?" "I said we should get down on our 2 knees and thank God for Euclid." "I'm sure you did, Cloessy. I see the lie festering in your teeth." "What do I see, boys?" "The lie, sir." "And what is the lie doing, boys?" "Festering, sir." "Where, boys, where?" "In his teeth, sir." Euclid, boys, was a Greek. What, Cloessy, is a Greek? "Some class of a foreigner, sir." "Cloessy, you're a half-wit. Now, Brendan, surely you know what a Greek is." Yes, sir, Euclid was a Greek. Dotty gives him a little smile. He tells Plessy he should model himself on Quigley, who knows what a Greek is. He draws 2 lines side by side and tells us these are parallel lines, and the magical and mysterious thing is that they never meet. Not if they were to be extended to infinity, not if they were extended to God's shoulders. And that, boys, is a long way, though there is a German Jew who is upsetting the whole world with his ideas on parallel lines. Who might that be? Parallel lines. German Jew. What do you think? Yes, thank you. We listen to Dotty and wonder what all this has to do with the state of the world, with the Germans marching everywhere and bombing everything that stands. We can't ask him ourselves, but we get Brendan Quigley to do it. Anyone can see Brendan is a master's pet, and that means he can ask any question he likes. After school, we tell Brendan he has to ask the question tomorrow. What use is Euclid and all those lines that go on forever when the Germans are bombing everything? Brendan says he doesn't want to be the master's pet. He didn't ask for it, and he doesn't want to ask the question. He's afraid if he asks that question, Dotty will attack him. We tell him if he doesn't ask the question, we'll attack him. Next day, Brendan raises his hand. Dotty gives him a little smile. Sir, what use is Euclid and all the lines when the Germans are bombing everything that stands? The little smile is gone. Ah, Brendan. Ah, Quigley. Oh, boys. Oh, boys. He lays his stick on the desk and stands on the platform with his eyes closed. What use is Euclid, he says. Use! Without Euclid, the Messerschmitt could never have taken to the sky. Without Euclid, the Spitfire could not dart from cloud to cloud. Euclid brings us grace and beauty and elegance. What does he bring, boys? Grace, sir, and beauty, sir, and elegance, sir. Euclid is complete in himself and divine in application. Do you understand that, boys? We do, sir. I doubt it, boys. I doubt it. To love Euclid is to be alone in the world. He opens his eyes and sighs, and you can see the eyes are a little watery. Is this guy a little crazy? He's talking about Euclid, the mathematician, and his eyes are getting watery? What's up with that? I think he's a little nuts. Paddy Cloissy is leaving the school that day, and he's stopped by Mr. O'Day, who teaches the 5th class. Mr. O'Day says, You, what's your name? Cloissy, sir. What class are you in? 4th class, sir. Now, tell me, Cloissy, is that master of yours talking to you about Euclid? He is, sir. And what is he saying? He's saying he's a Greek. Of course he is, you dithering omadon. What else is he saying? He's saying there'd be no school without Euclid. Ah, now is he drawing anything on a board? He's drawing lines side by side that will never meet, even if they land on God's shoulders. Mother of God. No, sir, God's shoulders. I know, you idiot. Go home. The next day, there's a great noise at her classroom door, and Mr. O'Day is yelling, Come out, O'Neill, you canker, you poltroon. We can hear everything he's saying because of the broken glass over the door. The new headmaster, Mr. O'Halloran, is saying, Now, Mr. O'Day, control yourself. No quarrelling in front of our pupils. Well then, Mr. O'Halloran, tell him to stop teaching the geometry. The geometry is for the 5th form, not the 4th. The geometry is mine. Tell him to teach the long division and leave Euclid to me. Long division will stretch his intellect, such as it is, God help us. I don't want the minds of these boys destroyed by that canker up there on the platform, him handing out apple skins and causing diarrhea left and right. Tell him Euclid is mine, Mr. O'Halloran, or I'll put a stop to his gallop. Mr. O'Halloran tells Mr. O'Day to return to his classroom and asks Mr. O'Neill to step into the hall. Mr. O'Halloran says, No, Mr. O'Neill, I have to ask you, I've asked you before to stay away from Euclid. You have, Mr. O'Halloran, but you might as well ask me to stop eating my daily apple. I'll have to insist, Mr. O'Neill. No more Euclid. Mr. O'Neill comes back to the room and his eyes are watery again. He says little has changed since the time of the Greeks, for the barbarians are within the gates and their names are legion. What has changed since the time of the Greek, boys? I'm going to stop again.